So moving over to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Bassel, there seems to be airstrikes in Iraq by Turkish forces against the Shia militias backed by Iran. Is this a new chapter in the turf war within Iraq, and how will the businesses be affected from this?
Thank you, Bhargav. So today in the EMEA region, we had one assessed event and 22 other developments, starting off with the Middle East with what you mentioned on Iraq. So yesterday, a popular mobilization forces camp, which is affiliated militias with Iran, was targeted by Turkish airstrikes in the Bashika district in Mosul city, which is in Nainawa, in northern Iraq. So this should be, it's good to note that a Turkish military operation, a large-scale operation, have started last week against the PKK, which is the Kurdistan Workers' Party in this city and districts and governorate. However, this is an interesting development as the Turkish military and the Popular Mobilization Forces, which is an Iranian affiliated militia, have never clashed together. So the Turkish side have accused the PMF of launching a missile on the Rizlay Khan camp, which is a base in the governorate. So businesses should be aware of this developing situation, as the military operation by the Turkish military could lead to the destabilization of the security situation, especially in Mosul city and in the whole Nainawa governorate. Moving on to Africa, can you tell us, Sitati, about the latest developments from Africa?
Well, thank you, Bassel. In Africa, we assessed one development today and covered 9 others. And over the Lake Chad region, comprising of Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, there remains a possibility of escalated terrorist attacks by the Boko Haram and the Islamic State militants in the remaining days of the Ramadan period, which ends on May 2nd. And these insurgents of these 2 groups are fond of using improvised explosive devices, guns, machetes, and suicide bombers, with their prime targets being civilians, security forces, major roads, and other public places. And so businesses operating or with operations in the Lake Chad region, especially in Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, need to watch out for possible disruptions to road travel occasioned by the mounting of additional security checkpoints, as well as the heightened risk of kidnapping of personnel and extortion, especially in the high risk areas. So that's what we have from Africa today. Back to you, Bassel, to cover Europe for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sitati. So in Europe, we had around 7 developments today. Perhaps the most prominent development is in the UK. So Northern Ireland continues with the several strikes by workers. In Northern Ireland, the housing executives workers started a 2-week strike yesterday over a pay dispute. So the cost of living crisis continues in Europe, around the UK, and around the whole of Europe. The United Union stated that its members, which is one of the largest unions in Northern Ireland, stated that its member in 19 local councils will go on strike for 2 weeks, excluding 1 day, which is May 2. So it's over a pay dispute. The employers offered a 1.75% increase in wages. However, the union is calling for a 10% increase to curb the 7% inflation rate in the country. So businesses should be aware of the current strikes, as these, as members of the United Union, could stage widespread protests, especially if their demands are not met by the governmental authorities. This is all from EMEA today. Thank you.
So Bassel, before we wrap up Europe, can you elaborate a little further on what you think of the recent elections in France? I see the centrist Emmanuel Macron is back in power. Do you see this movement as pro-business?
Yes, Bhargav. So the French elections result wrapped up by Macron, President Emmanuel Macron, winning with a 58% over a 42% vote rate against Marine Le Pen. So the centrist party has won again. Perhaps the same business policies would be implemented across the country, especially with Macron being a Eurocentric president, and he has a Eurocentric approach.
Okay, thank you for that, Bassel. I must say, Europe will be looking at a much more Brussels-centric bureaucratic processes overall. The German Chancellor and the French President are core for European strength as well as unity. So I do not see a major change coming up in the next 2 or 3 years. However, businesses should also note that Macron has a bad habit of triggering unintended consequences from his overzealous approach to certain issues, such as Islamophobia, or his overture to Northern Africa, for that matter. And these have caused widespread protests as far as Pakistan. So they need to be aware that such movements are very much possible as he's back in power. With that, we'll wrap up for the day. Thank you very much for listening to us. If you need to know more about our services and our bespoke membership services, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.